You bet it does. Welcome into Monday's edition of The Big Show on your Total Sports Station, KTGR. Andy Humphrey and Brendan Schaefer here. The weekend, hope it was a good one for you. If you were watching Mizzou men's basketball, and that's all you did this weekend, well, then it probably wasn't. Hopefully you did other things.
Yeah, maybe you watched the game and then you just have been stewing for like 40 hours since
I really hope
ended.
not.
Not me. That couldn't be
good.
my
Good
story of my weekend.
Right? I hope not.
No, not really.
Trying to dig in. Okay, good. That's good. But if it was, sorry about that, but this is your chance to vent. Get it off your chest.
Mm-hmm.
Your grievances, your concerns. 6 games left in the regular season, Brendan. How are the Tigers going to do in them? Need to win at least half of them, I think, to have a real shot at the NCAA tournament.
Yeah, and if they play like they did on Saturday, they will win less than half.
Oh, yeah.
Decidedly less than half.
It's even being called by some one of the tougher remaining schedules in the country. Which
I believe it.
We'll discuss that also coming up. How can the Tigers do after that loss to Texas this past Saturday, one that really was a gut punch after the win over Texas A&M earlier in the week. We'll also talk about Tyreek Hill being released by the Dolphins.
Don't start with me on this.
What?
You're not saying that there's that there's an angle here, are you?
Well, I'm telling you, here's the thing. You don't want to talk about Mizzou basketball. It's like the medicine that you have to take today.
Mm-hmm,
I have to take the medicine today of talking about Tyreek Hill being available.
Okay.
That's how I feel. So we'll both take our medicine here coming up.
All right.
We'll talk 425 about Tyreek Hill. We'll talk about the Cardinals. Yadier Molina showing up to spring training today. What kind of coaching impact can he have on this team? And Larissa Anderson, Mizzou softball head coach, joins us at 5:45 to talk about the Tigers weekend down in Clearwater, Florida. 875-KTGR if you want to join in on the conversation. You can tweet us at KTGR Big Show. We're live on YouTube right now, youtube.com/@KTGR Sports. Go and subscribe there so you don't miss a single show. You can also join us live on Facebook too, facebook.com/KTGR Big Show.
Now, the Big Show's Big Deal.
Riding high into that game, Mizzou men's basketball was, but they did not get the win that they were looking for. Texas prevails 85-68 at Mizzou Arena in front of a sold-out crowd in that building. And Texas used a very strong second half, scored 52 points to Mizzou's 37 in that second half to really pull away. Jaden Stone and Mark Mitchell both had 16 for the Tigers, but not nearly enough as the Tigers fall to 17-8 overall, 7-5 in the SEC. And as a result of that, they're still on the bubble, but Joe Lunardi did move them out of the NCAA tournament field according to his latest bracketology projections. They're now the first team out. After being the last team in, they moved down a spot, but right now out of the NCAA tournament picture according to him. And that is the Big Show's big deal on this 16th day of February 2026. Caller text us here at 573-875-KTGR. James texted in, did Texas score on every second half possession Saturday night? It felt like it.
It did feel like it. Yeah.
It was almost true.
I had to check the game casts because I legitimately, you're locked in, but there might be a possession that you don't really recall in the haze of it. And I really thought they had scored every possession. And when I turned it off, because I truly couldn't take it anymore, was I think just after the under 4 timeout, and Texas had like a second chance and then a third chance, and they either made a basket or got fouled. And I was like, That's it for me. I'm out. Horrific performance by Missouri, truly, in terms of the opportunity coming off of the A&M win, where I said, look, man, that one gets you on the map. Now people are talking about you. Now they're paying a little bit of attention to you. And people were calling this game against Texas the bubble game of the year. I mean, you've got two teams that are labeled as last 4 in by Lunardi at the time. And he's not the all-knowing, omnipotent bracketologist, but he's pretty prominent.
He's pretty good.
And we take a look and we pay a little bit of attention when something like that's going on. And you get completely just run out of your own building in the second half of that game. And now Missouri just on the outside looking in of the field, Pearl and Artie, and Texas nowhere to be found on the graphic because they're not even considered on the bubble anymore. They're just safely in after just decimating you.
I didn't even notice that. They rose above the last 4 buys even.
They're not last 4 in. They're not even last 4 buys at this point.
Right.
Georgia, you're going the wrong direction, and that will continue. They will not make the tournament.
Okay,
I
all right.
continue to pound the table about that. Got that one right on OU beating Georgia. But, for Missouri, what an opportunity squandered. And they didn't even play them close either. It's one of those where if you play them close, you may not even really get dinged for it. But, boy, did they get dinged. Got dinged in the net, and rightfully so. What can you say about a performance like that where the eyes are on you, sold out for the first time all year, and that's the way they repaid the fans who came out? I mean, it was really disheartening to watch.
Yeah, look, the manner in which that second half played out kind of undid a lot of the metrics boost that you got early in the week from the Texas A&M win. Like they rose up in a lot of those spots, but then came right back down after how they lost. And again, they were in it at halftime.
Yeah.
But within striking distance. But then Texas goes 62% from the field, 4 of 8 from 3. They only missed 1 free throw. They shot, how many free throws they shoot? 17 in the second half. By the way, Mizzou shot 38 free throws in the game. And look, I mean, 68% is not what you want, especially when you get 38 free throws. That wasn't going to flip the whole thing, though. Like the fact that Mizzou's defense, credit to Texas, they hit a bunch of tough shots.
They did.
Mizzou could have had some better defensive closeouts on some of their threes. I saw that as an issue in that game.
Yeah, there were uncontested threes. There were contested threes that Texas was knocking down. They were knocking down long twos, mid twos, driving. I mean, they were hitting everything in the second half, and I attribute it. Yeah, you credit Texas, but it was also a mark on the defensive effort and intensity that just did not seem to be there. And I felt as though Missouri's struggles offensively, they carried it to the other end of the floor. Like shots weren't falling, and so you kind of, there's just not that crispness, I thought, to the defense in the second half. The first half was, I thought, equally ugly on both sides. It was an ugly game, and you're mucking it up, and it's, you're down by 2. I had no joy watching the first half, but it was equal parts ugly by both teams. The second half was just Missouri playing ugly, and it just looked like, I said, the offensive end looked like in pickup basketball where it's the guy who probably, shouldn't really be shooting, but he wants to kind of look like he's taking part. And so he rises up and he's doing all the motions, but then when the shot goes toward the rim, it's just, it's nowhere close. They could not find a rhythm in shooting the basketball. They couldn't make layups. I mean, it was, I thought, and I know that December was bleak, but now knowing what we know about the roster, that they just didn't have their full complement back then, I would say the second half on Saturday night was the worst half of basketball of the season, especially if you factor in what the opportunity was there. I mean, you're basically coin flip at halftime with a bubble team on your floor, conference game, sold out crowd, give them something to talk about, and they just laid an egg in that second half. That was as bad of a half as they've had all year.
Yeah, because they were doing things that they had been doing well in past games that it just didn't show up. Like they were outscored in points in the paint, 40-28. The fact that they couldn't get into their action the same way to make those looks a little bit easier for them was tough. Yeah, you mentioned the layups. They missed they missed 13 layups according to the stat broadcast. They track how many layups, whatever their metric is, whatever their standard is for layups. 6 of 19 on layups. No, you can't live that way. Especially not this team with they've got some shooters, but they can't rely on their shooters every night. And they only shot 10 threes in this game. This team gets downhill with guys like T.O. Barrett and Jaden Stone, they feed Mark Mitchell, they feed Sean Phillips, and that's where their offense is bedrocked. But when one or two of those guys doesn't have it, and look, let's be honest, T.O. Barrett didn't have it. He didn't have it in that game.
And Trent Pierce was not, for the minutes he played, was not
No.
a factor in the way they needed him to be scoring the basketball. 16 for Mitchell, 16 for Stone, 11 for Ant Robinson. Had a couple of spurts where he looked like he was going to, pour him in. And look, he hasn't scored in double digits in a hot minute. So for Ant, I don't really have, there's no major issues there. They almost needed him to kind of give a little more with T.O. Barrett not having as good of a game. But you look at the number of, I call it ghosts. You have too many ghosts on the floor if you've got these guys that are all playing 30-plus minutes and they're not really scoring, they're not really assisting, they're not really rebounding. It's like, well, you're probably not going to win.
Yeah.
And then you have the Sean Phillips situation where he's the hero of the A&M game to end it on the offensive end, on the defensive end, and in his most important assignment of the season, because that vocatitis is just a problem.
Yeah.
And in his most important assignment of the season, he gets a technical foul within just the very beginning of the game and then picks up a personal quick after that. He let him down with that. You have to start on a different tone if you're Sean Phillips, because what that led to was something that may have happened anyway, but additional Nick Randall minutes. They tried Trent Burns, and holy smokes, was he overmatched. And so they quickly said, nope, can't do that, because it was the baby deer out there for Trent Burns. So I think we're kind of seeing why he has not seen significant minutes in SEC play. That was a moment where they said, he's 7'5". Sean Phillips is in foul trouble. Let's plug him in, see what we can do. It just wasn't going to happen. He was brutalized on the inside, and they tried to feed him on the offensive end, and he just didn't know what to do with the ball. So they had to then go a little bit deeper than that 7-man rotation, because the key to Texas is the guy that draws the fouls, that gets buckets inside. And thankfully, he was in a bit of foul trouble himself, Andy. Otherwise, it could have been a lot worse. Vocatitis, I don't think, played as much because the matchup advantage was there all night for Texas.
Yeah.
With Phillips being in foul trouble the way that he was, that was a bad recipe, and it certainly is one that caught up with him in the second half when the other things that Missouri typically does well just weren't happening.
Yeah, and look, they got help from other guys too, like Cody and Wilcher off the bench did some really nice things.
Yeah.
With Vocatitis out. Swain is very clearly their best player, and he showed that again there. But yeah, on Mizzou's side, I do think that when Phillips picked up that second one, it's like, okay, you might not take him off the floor, and I don't think they did immediately, but it is going to change how he defends. Like, you think about it now, and that's just not a great recipe for Sean Phillips right out of the way. And honestly, I was surprised that, after they started going after him a couple times after that he didn't pick up that third. I actually thought, oh, okay, well, Phillips actually did fairly well there, but I just
that was a fascinating moment of the game where they kept him on the floor, and Texas should have done more to just go right at him.
Yeah.
A couple times they did, but he was in good position. It could have, like I said, the margin when they lose by 17 was brutal. Right. It could have been a lot worse a lot sooner in the game than it was.
And again, Mizzou went to Randall right after that when Phillips came off the floor for the first time, which I think is right. Like, if you need to put somebody out there, Randall, I think, is the best option outside of, the rotation of 7 that Mizzou's trying to stick to. Randall, I think, is the next best option for the front court, certainly, and maybe just in general. They were without Sebastian Mack for this game. He was out with an illness, which I don't know. In a game like this where T.O. Barrett was struggling and Anthony Robinson was a little better, but by, again, what we're trying to hold the standard to Anthony Robinson of, maybe still not enough. He fouled out of the game eventually. Maybe they would have thrown Mack in there at some point if he was available.
Yeah.
So,
I don't know if that would have made a difference. You need T.O. Barrett to play better. I mean, in that, at a certain point, you look at your roster when you're running this shorter rotation, your best players have got to be your best players. And I think at this point, T.O. Barrett has assembled into one of those for this team that you're relying on him. And, he didn't play particularly well. I just think as a team, they did not stand up to what Texas was doing to them in the second half. You could look at a number of guys on the floor that just, like I said, they were ghosts. And it's so disappointing because what this would have done to their resume and to the way you feel about the team, and they weren't even within striking distance by the end of it. And so now you look ahead and go, all right, I mean, Vanderbilt that's one that you almost kind of have to have as you start to look at the remainder of the schedule. We'll get more into it at 5:05. It felt like a missed opportunity where we couldn't even come away from it going, oh man, almost. It just, they blew it.
875 KTGR. Give us a call or a text with what you think about Mizzou's performance against Texas this past weekend. James saying, love how the armchair QBs out there were praising Gates last Wednesday, and the same people Saturday night said he can't coach. Did he get stupid in 3 days? Come on. Yeah, like I don't really even put how much do you put on Gates versus how much do you put on the players that, again, like T.O. Barrett, 2 of 9 from the field. Trent Pierce, again, when you're talking about it, like that, he can't block out on the offensive glass and allow 14 offensive rebounds to Texas. Like, you can't do those things.
You want your players to not play so pathetically, and like that is the coach having them in a position. But at the end of the day, this was, I think, more of a player-driven game, because if I were coaching that team and they were performing like that, I would be throwing my hands up going, what are we doing, guys? It was just not good. So I don't know. It's like that notion of, when you're saying coaching, are you talking about X's and O's? Are you talking about just the general?
I mean, it's not just X's and O's, right? It is about the feel going into the game. Yeah. How do you mentally prepare them for it? Which,
so again,
we don't see that. And so that's hard to evaluate, right?
You can't just say it's 25% this, it's 30% that, it's 45%. We don't really know the breakdown, but we do at the end of the day, I think, look at moments like that where this is your biggest moment and there was a failure somewhere along the way. So I pin it on everybody. The players didn't perform, and the coach didn't have them in a position ready to perform and execute, because it ultimately didn't happen and they fell woefully short. So I was not as fired up about it. I was just disappointed. I was, because there are games where you go, Gates, what do we do? But in this game, it was they just were overmatched. They looked overmatched by a team that I don't think is significantly better than them. You know what I mean? Like, I think Texas is a good team. I felt that way since they weren't considered, an NCAA tournament. Now they're looking like a team that's primed to be there. I think they're a good team. I don't think they're 17 points better than Mizzou on the floor at Mizzou Arena. That's not the outcome that you needed. Texas is getting a ton of credit for it if they're off the bubble at this point. Mizzou has the games remaining to be able to claw it back, but I am exhausted emotionally going, oh, well, maybe if we can beat Vandy and sneak one from Arkansas, like, that was the game on Saturday. That was the game to really set you up in a great spot. Sure, you went 1-1 in a week where nobody would have faulted you for going 1-1.
Right.
But the way it happened has us down in the dumps because you lost by 17 in the game that was objectively more winnable.
Yeah, that's the tough part. Like, the math is what hurts you the most there. And hopefully down the road, you can overcome that math a little bit more by outperforming in a different margin or something like that. So, yeah, you just got to have something to make up for it. Mizzou did kind of hold serve this week, but winning that would have really paved an easier path. And now it just feels like they have to scrape and claw some more.
And it's a snap back into the way they were playing last Wednesday, when there are more minutes on the tired legs of a group of players it doesn't run 10 deep.
Nope.
It doesn't really run 9 deep as we saw on Saturday. It's 7. And if your 7 aren't up to the task on this coming Wednesday, I don't know. It's the projectability for me. I can't easily project now them to snap their fingers and they're right back into the way they were playing in College Station after what I saw on Saturday. Maybe there's an adjustment made. Maybe that's the way that it goes, but I am concerned because the most recent thing we saw was not pretty.
Call or text us at 573-875-KTGR if you want to join us. I believe we have Paul on the KTGR hotline. Let's see if we can get Paul here and change the line there. We can get him back. But let's see if we've got Paul now. Paul, do you hear us?
Yeah.
Paul, you're on the big show. What you got?
Okay, guys. Yeah, it's very frustrating to be a Missouri fan. It's hard to know what you got. You want to make the tournament, but do you want to lose to Princeton and Drake again? I mean, we've been told that we get all these great recruits every year, and we've been told we have a great recruiting class next year. But, it doesn't – I mean, I guess we're better off than Kansas State, but where are we? I mean, I don't know.
I mean, we'll get to the Kansas State part and under the bus coming up, but appreciate the call, Paul, here on the Big Show. No, they are not.
Not a great time.
I'll say this. It seems like they get great recruits. It's because they've gotten 4-star guys instead of 3-star guys, like the past iteration of Mizzou basketball used to mostly get. And next year they're getting 5-star guys. We don't know what getting multiple 5-stars on this team means just yet.
Hopefully something good.
And I am intrigued to see it. Look, this will not be again. Let's get this out there. Dennis Gates is going to be here next year. However you might feel about Dennis Gates or whatever, and I hate that we have to do this every time. There's a loss because losses happen in college basketball.
We do this with Mizzou, though. With Mizzou basketball especially, it's like this grand – every time we talk about the team, it's got to be the grand question of what are we as a program? It's like a Rorschach test. What do you see when you look at Mizzou basketball? What's there? And, that's fair because you got the old heads who this used to be a basketball school, right? Football is kind of secondary, and then Pinkel, and then it starts to shift, and certainly now the way the money flows and the way the attention flows, the way Drink's got it going, I think it's more of a football school than basketball if you can only talk about the two. Obviously, we're a gymnastics school, and nobody's taking that away from us.
Yeah.
But, there are these conversations, and Gates has the signs of being like, this is going to be a basketball school. You've got the recruiting momentum. You've got, immediately getting to the NCAA tournament without having a lot to show for the previous season when they fired the coach. There have been moments in his tenure where you're going, hey, this thing's on track. But because there are those letdowns when you, maybe not when you least expect it, but when you least want to see it, the Princeton, the Drake, Saturday, because those things also happen, you do have fans going, I emotionally am exhausted by that which is Missouri basketball. It's too much. I don't know whether I should have expectations. Is it fair for me to do that? Is it unrealistic? Should I just be thankful that we're decent? Should I be glad we're not Kansas State? What is Mizzou basketball? I think that's why we do it every time, Andy, because it is an enigma in itself. There's a lot of weirdness that does seem to just kind of permeate. Some good. Holy crap, we beat Florida. Some bad. Why did we lose by 17 to Texas, coming off of one of our best wins of the year?
At home.
That's Mizzou. That's a Mizzou basketball,
sold out
man.
crowd at home, man. That's the gut punch.
The opportunity.
That's the gut punch that really hurts.
Yep.
Fans bought
in for that one.
Fans bought in. We're like, all
ready.
right, we'll sell out your building for this game that against the team that doesn't have a number next to their name, but we know how important this game is because we know
we're there for you guys.
Where that team is in relation to the NCAA tournament bubble and where we are in relation to the NCAA tournament bubble. It's a big game.
Perfect storm.
And, well, first of all, game got delayed 20 minutes because there was a wreck on I-70 that caused one of the officials to be late, apparently. And then from there, things happen.
Yeah.
So.
Yep, it stinks, man. It's a huge disappointment. Just when it's like the opposite of when I'm out, they pull me back in. Just when I'm in. Just when I'm
they're like,
resign myself.
Yeah, get back out.
To the fact that this is going to happen. We're doing this. They kick me in the face, and I'm back out and on the curb. What's going on here? So the disappointment is you've got a huge opportunity coming up on Wednesday, and I just don't know how or the degree to which they are going to show up for it. We'll talk more, obviously, but that's kind of where my headspace is after that one.
I want to get Kevin here on the KTGR hotline. Kevin with us now. Kevin, what you got, my friend?
Hey, it's been a minute, guys. How you guys doing?
Doing all right.
Doing good.
So, Mizzou basketball, I got a couple things. One, they're just up and down, man. It's just inconsistent. That's kind of been the way that the season's going. So, it's been for everybody, but two things stick out for me. One, I don't know how you guys feel. I had super high expectations for Anthony Robinson, and I think him not playing up to those has kind of caused the demise, even if he's coming off the bench for whatever reason. I don't know what it is with him. I don't know if it's not his game or not, but I was looking for him this season to be much more aggressive offensively. Maybe you guys speak to why he's not doing that. I have no idea. Maybe the coach doesn't want him to do it, but he's got to be more aggressive. The other thing that I don't know, maybe the person's hurt. What has happened to Sebastian Mack? Why he can't get on the floor, particularly when Cruz hasn't really been giving you much of anything lately as far as shooting and stuff like that. I thought that would be an opportunity for him to get on the court more. And then finally, I just think to me, and I know T.O. Barrett's played really well. I think to me, the rest of the season and moving forward, I think, man, we really got to start involving Trent Pierce more through the offense. Because when he's scoring and when he's playing well, it changes. It changes stuff for the team, and they win, in my opinion. So that's what I think of the season so far, but that's just is what it is. Thanks, guys.
Sure, appreciate the call, Kevin, here on the Big Show, KTGR. Okay, so
Pierce was 1 for 4, by the way. When you talk about involvement, like, that's not a great percentage. You shot 25%, 0 for 1 from 3. But the previous game against A&M, which I have said was their best performance of the year, he was 10 for 15. That's involvement. If you're 1 for your first 4, let me see what you are for your next 7. Like, I want Trent Pierce taking shots. I do. Because I think
do you want him taking the most shots, though? Do you want that?
The most, okay, so like Mark Mitchell's going to take shots, but really it's just layups. And I want him to lead the team in shot attempts because I want him driving to the basket. I want T.O. Barrett to be pretty high up there, too, because the way he drives when he's on his game.
Right. You want Jaden Stone to be up there, too, right? Jaden Stone.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah, it's the core 4.
Here's the thing. Like, Jaden
Stone,
Stone, Mark Mitchell, and T.O. Barrett all had 9 shots in that game on Saturday.
Yeah.
So, like, do you want Pierce to overtake one of them? Is that it? Or...
Let me grab the box score here.
Again, like I think you're right. I think Pierce should have shot more than 4 shots, ideally. I just don't know how many opportunities Mizzou had as a whole to get shots up against this team.
Right.
That's also part of it. To the Sebastian Mack one, like last game, he was out with an illness.
He might have been ill before. Like, I don't
may have been.
Say he was out.
Again, the thing is, like with him, I don't know why Mizzou couldn't unlock what he was doing at UCLA, right? Where he was very effective as a driver, could draw fouls, could finish at the rim. This year, just we don't know why it isn't as effective. And the shot, like he doesn't really have a 3-point shot that you can rely on.
He's
either,
too similar to T.O. Barrett. I
right.
don't think you can play both of them at the same time because they're kind of the same archetype of a player. Like you just described, can drive, can draw fouls, can get to the line, can't shoot a 3. That's T.O. Barrett. I mean, they're the same guy.
Right.
And I think T.O. Barrett's better at it. So that's, maybe that's my thought on that.
The thing about Anthony Robinson is that, yes, best case scenario was Anthony Robinson being the leading point guard on this team. I still believe that. It may have been unrealistic for us to expect him to give you 14, 15 points a night. Even through all of these struggles that he has had, he is still averaging 9 points a game. It's just not been as efficient. And so with that, like very clearly that has caused Mizzou to look elsewhere. And look, T.O. Barrett has done very good being the leading point guard over the last 5 games or so that he's been able to start. But again, he's getting these elongated minutes for the first time in his college career. And every so often, you're going to get a dud during that point. There was the dud. Like this last game was the dud for T.O. Barrett, which you hope that it's the only dud and that he can continue to lead this on. But yeah, Anthony Robinson picking it up and not putting all of that weight upon T.O. Barrett's shoulders would be nice.
Yep. No, I agree with that. And like the Mac of it all kind of is what it is. Like I'm not too fired up about that. You were asking about Trent Pierce's shot attempts, which I think is fair. I was looking back through the box score. The last time as a team they didn't have at least 50 shot attempts, or that 45 in this game, was the LSU loss. And so kind of a similar feeling game where they just didn't really get as much going offensively. Scored 70 in that game, scored 68 on Saturday. The Auburn game, they only had 48 attempts, but they were 27 of 48, extremely efficient in the Auburn game. That was a great example. So you're right. Like they just, I think my thought isn't watching that game isn't like, I can't believe they didn't get Trent Pierce more involved, but the guys that were involved, 9 shot attempts, 2 for 9 for Theo Barrett. Like, they weren't efficient in this game, and it's not like they weren't getting their looks they wanted. They were trying layups, and they missed 13 of them.
Yeah.
And so that's how you end up with the result that you had. It's just a bad game. Hopefully it's one that you can flush it, that, like, this is where coaching comes in. It's ain't X's and O's, but it's Dennis Gates has to find a way to tell his guys, flush it, and then they flush it and play really well against Vanderbilt.
Yeah, it is very much mental as opposed to technically what they're doing for this next one against Vanderbilt. But it's a tough road to hoe for the remaining 6 for the Tigers. Some saying one of the toughest schedules left in the country. We'll discuss that at 5:05, but up next, Tyreek Hill's available. Chiefs,
hey,
don't do it.
I filibuster. I talked as much
it.
Mizzou basketball as I could so that we can minimize.
I appreciate that. I really do.
Stuff.
We're gonna talk about the Tyreek stuff next.
Miss the latest edition of The Big Show? Catch up on demand with a full show podcast on the KTGR app. Download it now wherever you get your apps.
It's game day. Are your moderate to severe Crohn's disease or ulcerative colitis symptoms keeping you from the action? Skyrizi, risankizumab Riza, could help you get back to the game. Skyrizi is proven to help people feel significant symptom relief, achieve remission, and visibly improve damage of the intestinal lining. Skyrizi is a prescription injection medicine for adults. Don't use if allergic to Skyrizi. Serious allergic reactions, increased infections, or lower ability to fight them may occur. Before treatment, get checked for infections and tuberculosis. Tell your doctor about any flu-like symptoms or vaccines. Liver problems leading to hospitalization may occur when treated for Crohn's or ulcerative colitis.
Control is everything to me.
Ask your doctor about Skyrizi, the #1 prescribed biologic in Crohn's and ulcerative colitis combined. Learn more at skyrizi.com or 1-866-SKYRIZI.
My name is Max Volkner. I'm a marketing consultant with Zimmer Communications. Working as a marketing consultant was not something I was expecting to do in my lifetime whatsoever. So getting the job here and then having so many helpful people around you to help you be successful was really awesome for me and is what made me fall in love with this job. The team is great. We all want to see each other succeed. I think that's a huge part of working here and a huge benefit of working here.
If you're up for the challenge, apply now at ZimmerCommunications.com.
You've seen the trucks. You've heard the name, but there still seems to be some confusion. So let's settle this once and for all. Yes, Steve from Steve's Pest Control is a real guy. Okay, sure. I'll believe in Steve when I see a termite riding a unicorn. Time to squash those rumors, like Steve squashes spiders. Steve's Pest Control isn't some big corporate chain, and they're not some call center based in the land of make-believe. Steve's Pest Control is a locally owned, family-operated company. From ants to termites, bedbugs to wasps, Steve's crew handles it all with precision and a dash of Midwestern charm.
Hi, I'm Steve with Steve's Pest Control.
There it is, proof of Steve's existence. So don't waste your time calling the not-so-local guys and call your friends at Steve's Pest Control. Local, legendary, and 100% real.
We're going to solve your pest problem. I guarantee it.
Now you got a friend in the pest control business. Steve's Pest Control.
It was 1 p.m. on a Monday when the phone rang. Brian Ware Plumbing and Restoration answered the call. It was a panicked family with a mouse problem. Well, a mouse/plumbing problem. Their toilet was more backed up than the connector at 63 and I-70. But Brian's team eventually plucked out the problem. It was a mouse, but like the computer kind, which the family then asked if they could keep afterwards. We didn't ask why. Better call Brian and unplug your plumbing problems. BrianWarePlumbing.com.
From elegant weddings to corporate lunches with flavor and flair, Courtyard by Marriott Columbia brings the party and the pros. It's the home of Main Event Catering. And with every event, you'll get an award-winning chef, full banquet staff, and drop-and-go options for any size crowd. And the event center holds up 300 guests with 8 flexible rooms. If you need help, there's a Marriott certified wedding coordinator on staff too. Book now by calling 573-443-8000.
Your daily fix of local sports lives here. This is The Big Show on KTGR.
We'll talk more Mizzou basketball at 5:05. You can tell us your thoughts on the Texas loss. And what's left now for the Tigers, it's kind of a tough road now as they try to scrape and claw into the NCAA tournament. 573-875-KTGR, number to reach us at with a text or a call. You can also comment on our YouTube channel or on Facebook and join us that way too. So the Dolphins are cleaning out pieces of their roster. I mean, Bradley Chubb's gone. They've got a couple offensive linemen gone. They're obviously trying to move on from Tua. They'll eventually do that. And Tyreek Hill gone. They released him today. And that will clear some significant salary cap space as Hill, I think it was going to be like $54 million or something like that. But he's now available.
Okay.
Yeah.
First question.
Yes.
Is he healthy? And if not, when will he be? Because he had like a big old season-ending, nasty, maybe career-ending. It looked bad when it happened, and I know he had some surgeries or something.
Dislocated a knee and tore an ACL.
Yeah.
Week 4.
Yeah.
And he missed the rest of the year. So, like, he's about to be 30. He turns 32 next month.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's a concern. Like, it is.
That's before we even get to, like,
right,
the Tyreek Hill of it all. And people know what I mean when I say that, okay?
Yeah.
If you have the internet access, you know what I'm talking about.
Oh, man. Yeah, like, look, I'll say this. He'll play for somebody. I will predict that he will play for somebody. Somebody will sign him to a 1-year deal. I don't know how much money, but someone out there will give him a chance.
Yeah,
and he will
he's
play.
He's going to have to accept that it's not about the money if he thinks he's coming back to play.
I think so. I think the Dolphins are giving him a bunch of dead money to make him go away, I would have to think. But, this is – he'll play multiple games for somebody. Chiefs, do not let it be you. Please do not. I don't care that you might be thinking about trying to get a wide receiver and needing to upgrade the room, and you're underwhelmed by Xavier Worthy, or you're underwhelmed by everything else surrounding Rashee Rice. Like, Rice should be okay, you'd have to think, but even he kind of underperformed at times last year. Maybe there's worry there. But, like, I can't let that back into this organization. I just can't.
I think if he were fully healthy, I would feel that way. The fact that I don't know if he's ever going to be Tyreek Hill again, or even like whatever he was to begin 2025, which was a diminished player. Even 2024, I mean, he was not the same as we're used to seeing him.
Right.
I think this is easy. This is an easy stay away for me, and I don't know if he will. I don't think he'll play again in the NFL. Maybe it's a hot take. Maybe it's not. But I just think there's too much baggage, and he might not be productive anyway. If he were 28 and not 32, I think you'd feel a little bit differently coming off of an injury like this.
Yeah.
I'm reading this from the Palm Beach Post. This was shortly after his injury. A story, and the headline is, "When is Tyreek Hill coming back? Alex Smith, Kevin Ware injuries serve as guide." You remember the Kevin Ware injury, right?
Oh, I don't want to. I really do not want
national
to.
TV.
Yeah.
So, and he did come back, I think, and play basketball again. But this will be an easy stay away, I think, for the Chiefs because of the injury you can lean back on. Like, will he be able to even pass a physical? Probably not in time for week 1, I wouldn't think. This wasn't week 1 when it happened, right? Was it
this year? It was week 4.
Yeah, week 4. So, I mean, you're talking about just a 12-month timeline to get to week 4 of next year, essentially. Is this a 12-month injury? I would have to imagine that it is. It wasn't just your simple ACL. So,
yeah, I mean,
what'll probably happen is it'll kind of bleed into the season. There'll be a moment in time where his agent lets everybody know he's healthy, and he'll try to hold a showcase, and that's when maybe teams take a peek. But I'd be surprised unless he's just and look, he is a freak athlete. We know that. But he's 32. Going to be 32. It's not the same as recovering from an injury in his 20s.
I really hope it's not the Chiefs. I won't say it'll never happen because
I
the
think it'll
Chiefs
never happen.
they love bringing old guys back, right?
Yeah.
They love bringing back their old friends. If they still consider Tyreek Hill that, I don't know. But Eric Bieniemy's back.
Yeah.
And he obviously worked with him. But I would say to Eric Bieniemy, you had a really good world-beating offense without him. The very first year without him, your offense was one of the best offenses we have ever seen in the NFL. Go back to that.
And now it's 5 years later or whatever it is where he's not the same player.
Exactly. That's my thing. Joe's saying Hill wants to come back. Why not if on the cheap? Because, again, he's not the same player. I have so many concerns about the age and the injuries that he has put on his lower half, which is like that is why he's an NFL player, because of how speedy he was and because how quick he was away from those DBs in the secondary. And I just don't know if that's the difference maker anymore.
He's not much of a player without that speed.
Yeah.
And I'll be shocked if he ever has it again. Now, if it is the case where there's a showcase and he looks healthy, then you have to say, do we want the Tyreek Hill of it all back in the building? Which is like, there will be another time where he does something off the field that brings you negative attention. It's just a matter of fact. It is Tyreek Hill.
Yeah.
I don't feel even bad for saying that because we've seen it over and over and over. You can put up with that when a guy's, like, to an extent, when a guy's a stud. I mean, Rashee Rice is kind of right now towing that line where it's like, is it always his fault? I don't know. He doesn't seem to get truly in trouble for some of the things that is said about his
he
name.
did in one instance, but the other stuff,
but like the other stuff is like, will there be another incident? And I don't think that's crazy to think about, but there's always that, that cost benefit analysis.
Yeah.
Is the juice worth the squeeze? Is the risk of this player giving us a headache worth what he'll do for us on the field? For a long time, the answer for Tyreek Hill, knowing that the headache was prominent, was always yes, because he was unbelievable in his prime. He's coming off a devastating injury to his lower half, and he's no longer in his prime when you consider the age of it all. So even at a vet minimum, like, fine, if they want to do that and that's what he has to settle for, I'm sure if you told Tyreek today, vet minimum is all you're getting, he would still probably say Chiefs would be the place I'd want to go. And like at that point, whatever. I just don't know if it's the route anybody.
Even then, I wouldn't. Like, because that I want to save my free agency money for a running back. That's what I want.
Well, but again, if he's literally just making the minimum, it's not really about the money at that point. It's the roster spot. It's like how many receivers are in the receiver room, and is the guy that that you'd bring in for depth going to be as impactful as Tyreek Hill? I don't know. Personally, I wouldn't do it if I'm the Chiefs. Do I want them to? Yeah, it'd be hilarious.
Oh,
like
gosh.
I would.
No,
I would
don't.
root for
No,
it.
no.
You have to remember one key thing here. I'm not really like a diehard Chiefs fan.
No,
I
understand.
Give me the chaos of it all.
Well,
It's not me, so it'd be hilarious to talk about and follow that storyline. Give us something. We do a radio show. I mean, sign Tyreek Hill. Sure. Be awesome. Be great for us.
I want them to be more boring. I want them to go out and just get, a running back that I wanted them to go out and sign Tyler Algier instead.
Well,
like, just go and do
position.
that. Yeah.
Different position. They got to, they got to fill out the receiver room.
And then draft somebody in the third round from, like, I don't know, Louisville, and then do that.
I don't know who Louisville's running back was this year, but
no, I'm saying draft a wideout from there or something like that. Go if you want to get a wideout in the room, go and draft somebody else. That's what I would maybe do instead. Not this, please. Not this.
No, that's fair. I'm looking at some free agent names. Christian Kirk, does that get you going?
I don't think they can afford Kirk.
Is he going to be more expensive? He already got his big salary. He probably just wants to win.
Well, Texans actually made the playoffs this year.
That's true, but he's a free agent, so I guess they'll have to sign him back.
875-KTGR. Give us a call or a text. Tyreek Hill, available.
Yeah.
You're a Chiefs fan. Do you want him? I really don't. But
I don't
you might think differently, so tell us. 875-5847 here on The Big Show. Onto the bus coming up next. Yeah, Jerome Tang. Things not going great over at K-State, and K-State is trying to do the for-cause firing when they, I don't think, actually have one. That's next.
What he did was disgusting. I mean, it was pretty bad.
Yeah, we'll get to that.
Now, your local Sports Center update on your total sports station, KTGR.
Good afternoon. I'm Andy Humphrey. This Sports Center update is with Lee's Tire Company. If it's round and rubber, Lee's sells it. Go to leestirecompany.com. Mizzou men's basketball is still trying to scrape and claw its way to the NCAA tournament, but they took a step back in that journey on Saturdays. They lost to Texas at home 85-68. Texas scored 52 points in the second half to pull away. Jaden Stone and Mark Mitchell both with 16 points for the Tigers, but it was not enough as Mizzou is now 17-8 overall, 7-5 in the SEC. Joe Lenardi has them today as the first team out of the NCAA tournament, his latest bracketology projections. Mizzou's next game at home on Wednesday night at 8 p.m. against Vanderbilt. Mizzou baseball opened up their season this weekend after a season-opening loss to Mount St. Mary's on Friday. Tigers got a 5-4 win on Saturday, and then exploded for a 34-3 win over Mount St. Mary's Sunday. The 34 runs is the second most they have ever scored in a single game in program history. Tigers will be at Florida Atlantic for a midweek game tomorrow, true road game. And Mizzou softball went 2-3 in the Shriners Children's Clearwater Invitational this past weekend. Tigers are 4-7 overall to start out their season. Now your ABC 17 Storm Track forecast.
I'm ABC 17 Storm Track Chief Meteorologist Jessica Hafner. I'm tracking a warmer night as temperatures fall into the mid to upper 40s. We'll see mostly cloudy skies heading into tomorrow. It's going to be a warm and windy day as temperatures get up to about 70 degrees. We'll see strong wind gusts out of the south up to about 30 miles per hour and a chance for a few spot showers or storms tomorrow night, especially north of I-70. We'll welcome back more sunshine and highs near 70 on Wednesday. I'm ABC 17 Storm Track Chief Meteorologist Jessica Hafner, and that's your ABC 17 Storm Track forecast on your total sports station, KTGR.
High school hoops.
Switches on the crossover, Euro step inside, high off the glass and in.
At its best.
Catch it on the left wing, turns around and knocks down the three.
KTGR is your home for the best high school basketball matchups in Columbia. Follow the QBs, Bruins, Spartans, and Trailblazers all season long on KTGR's High School Hoops Game of the Week. See the full list of game broadcasts on KTGR.com and listen on the go with a free KTGR app. High school basketball lives here on your total sports station, KTGR.
Welcome to every gym in January. Membership prices, crazy high. Crowds, even worse. All just to wait in line for a bench. Or, hear me out, you could build your own home gym from Play It Again Sports. Free weights, dumbbells, plates, treadmills, ellipticals, benches, racks, and more. New and used. At prices that don't feel like a crime. No crowds, no monthly fees, no awkward eye contact with Chad curling on the squat rack. Play It Again Sports. Think of them first so you don't finish last. PlayItAgainSportsColumbiaMo.com.
Michael Agnew here with API Project Fitness. I understand that life is hard, and if you're soft, it will squish you. You must find a way to be hard. Armor yourself up mentally and physically and emotionally. Our goal is to help you find your inner strength and hardness. The difference between strength and weakness is choice. With our group fitness classes and personal training and open gym, the choice is yours. Choose strength. Find us at apiprojectfitness.com or call us at 573-268-6944 to make an appointment.
Losing a loved one is probably the hardest punch you will ever take in the fight of life. Dealing with the fallout, finances, and how to replace that loss of income for your family is even harder. That's why Phyllis Nichols and her team are so passionate about life insurance. Phyllis Nichols is the 12-round agent who fights for your best interests and knows exactly what you need. Get your life insurance with State Farm Agency licensed Phyllis Nichols, the 12-round agent.
Columbia has a lot of great neighborhoods, a lot of beautiful neighborhoods, and you can't replace or build new homes there, but they're aging and the homes are getting to an age where they're needing maintenance. And one of the biggest things that we see coming over probably the next decade is need and demand for window replacement. So as your home approaches 15, 17, 20 years old, you're probably going to notice some drafts. You're going to notice some locks that don't quite lock anymore. Maybe some condensation in the windows on the inside, outside, or between the panes. There's a variety of things. Or maybe you just drive up to the window and it's got rotten wood or a really faded exterior. But either way, at about that time frame, these windows kind of end their life cycle. And so we want to be prepared to be the ones that you call, when you notice that and you want a solution for it. The difference between a house and a home is the attention to detail. At True Sun Exteriors and Interiors, we'll turn your vision of a dream home into a reality. For more information or a free estimate, go to TrueSunExteriors.com.
TrueSunExteriors.com.
Okay, the limb is hanging over the driveway. I need this pruned.
Oh, call the electrician.
An electrician?
Yeah, or maybe your HVAC guy.
You've officially lost it. I need an expert in the right field.
Fine. Call that lawn company. They mow and prune.
Yeah, they also scalped your yard last summer.
When it comes to trees, trust the experts who actually know trees. Ones that are trained and educated for pruning, planting, and removals done right. Call Eric at Advanced Tree Solutions, your tree's best friend. AdvancedTreeSolutionsLLC.com.
Life has many sweet sounds, whether it's being enchanted by the coo of a baby, enthralled by the refrain of a favorite song, or even enlightened by a celebration. Hearing connects, informs, and engages us with the world. At Hearing Aid Consultants, helping people hear better is our passion. Set your hearing baseline now so you don't miss the sweet sounds of life.
Hearing Aid Consultants in Allmaker Repair Lab. We are here for you today so you can hear tomorrow. HearingAidConsultants.com.
The best local sports talk around on your ride home. You've got The Big Show on KTGR.
It's time to go under the bus on The Big Show.
Brendan's going to hate me, but I got to use another Michael Scott line here.
Okay.
Kansas State is trying to fire Jerome Tang for cause. What's the cause? It is because they hate him.
It's kind of true. No, it's actually because they just are trying to get out from under some big-time dead money that they would owe him. But guess what? I'm not going to say that it's not going to fly. It shouldn't fly. All they're trying to do with this is settle for less than they owe him.
Yes.
Because they know they're going to be sued. They owe him like 19 point something million. If they can settle it for 10 or 12 or 15 or 17, they're happy because they saved a little money. I think Jerome Tang, and I saw Pete Thamel reporting he's got representation. And the comment, this tweet just came out recently. The comment I thought was pretty good, and I hope is right. They're basically claiming that for cause because he embarrassed the university. Basically, he said a lot of these guys on this team, I don't know if many of them will be in this uniform next year. They're not performing. Like, he went on a rant and probably wasn't even wrong. And so, like, that's what their basis is. It's not that there's, like, a scandal that's going to come out. Like, from what I understand, it's just he recently ripped them a new one on a post-game presser, and they're like, oh, we're going to fire him anyway. This is a good time to say, this is why. The attorney, Tom Mars, told ESPN, if K-State's president and AD really think the school is embarrassed by recent events, that's nothing compared to the embarrassment that both of them are about to experience. I hope that's true. I'm not some Jerome Tang defender, but they should owe him every single penny of that buyout. I hope they don't settle. I hope they come for it all, because this is a stupid trend. Like, pay your buyout. If you're going to sign the contract, pay the buyout. Jerome Tang stunk as a coach at K-State. He didn't do anything wrong to not deserve his buyout. Pay it. If you're going to sign the contract, pay it. I think it's stupid.
Yeah, if you don't want to pay the buyout, don't give him the buyout. Don't put that in the contract. Like, that's the problem. These contracts have gotten out of control. Everybody complains about them, but you're the ones that are giving them to them. Like, you don't have to give them those exorbitant buyouts. That's just the whole thing with that.
Under the bus.
So we'll see how it's going to be fascinating to see how it plays out, no doubt. Also, under the bus of Tony Vitello. Why is he still talking about Tennessee?
He had a media availability as the San Francisco Giants manager where he ranted for 3 minutes talking about how when it was first reported that he was taking the Giants job, he asked one of the reporters, when did you first hear that I was taking this job? And she said, I don't know, 4 or 5 days before it happened. He's like, well, that's not true. I wasn't at that time. And if I could find out who leaked it, it might have changed the course of history if I knew who leaked it. This dude is not off to an auspicious start. Even Giants fans are like, enough. You're not coaching Tennessee anymore. Right. Please move on.
He's already under so much scrutiny for that, and he's still talking about his old school.
Yeah, it's bizarre. I'm so glad it's happening.
Under the bus.
I mean, yeah, it is very fascinating to watch. The Giants will be under that microscope all year for that, but it was very odd to hear him ramble in that sense at Giants spring training.
It's time for the sweetest thing in sports on The Big Show.
I mean, 34 runs. It's pretty sweet. Mizzou baseball scored that much yesterday.
They
in one
did.
game against Mount
They
St.
did.
Mary's. There you go.
I'm not going to do it. I'm going to try not to do the bittersweetest thing in sports.
Oh, okay.
But if I were going to do it,
yes,
I would say that a team you can score 34 against probably shouldn't take a game from you in a series. But they did score 34, so that's good.
I mean, second most in program history is
Mhm.
pretty good. All the way
Yeah.
back in 1902, they put up 35 runs on a different.
That's a lot of
14 out
runs,
there.
and I'm surely that means a 3-0 start to the season over Mount St. Mary's. Because if you scored 34, you probably swept, right?
Space out the runs.
Let's just do what Mizzou Women's Hoops did. That's an exhibition. Cancel it out. Doesn't count. We're on to the next. Good
We'll
work.
talk more Mizzou men's hoops next here on The Big Show.
We know exactly what you're not thinking about right now. Wiper blades. But now that you are, take a moment to think about how Rain-X is the #1 brand of wiper blades in America. Why? Because Rain-X thinks about wiper blades all the time. We obsess, so you don't have to. Simply install our blades and then think about literally anything else. So choose Rain-X, America's #1 wiper blades, and then go back to not thinking about wiper blades. Rain-X. Outsmart the elements.
Winter is in full swing, and Aleve is here to keep you moving. When the cold weather sets in, everyday aches and pains can linger, but Aleve's got your back. With up to 12 hours of body pain relief per dose, Aleve keeps you going with long-lasting body pain relief to get you through whatever the season brings. Chilly days or cozy nights, Aleve gives you that long-lasting body pain relief you can count on this winter. Try Aleve. Use as directed for minor aches and pains.
Step into a real-life snow globe with Zimmer Communications and Colette Travel on this 9-day European vacation. Stroll Prague, Dresden, Vienna, and Budapest. From castles and cathedrals to twinkling market stalls. Sip warm Glühwein, shop handcrafted gifts, and even visit a family-run candy workshop. Learn more by joining us in Colette Travel Tuesday, March 17th at 5:30 at Courtyard Marriott Columbia on Lamone Industrial Boulevard. RSVP today at ZimmerCommunications.com.
Guys, our day is coming. The 2026 Como Man Show. Saturday, March 14th at the Northeast Event Center where the Boone County Fair is held. Sports, tractors, cars, and a whole lot more of everything that makes you proud to be a man. Food and drink? Oh yeah, Mid-Missouri's Best will be there too, with a portion of the proceeds going to a local nonprofit. Tickets on sale now, so grab yours at ComoManShow.com and we'll see you there. Saturday, March 14th at the Northeast Event Center.
KTGR AM Columbia, KTGR FM Fulton Columbia, K286CL Columbia, Mid-Missouri's total sports station. KTGR
is Sports Center.
I'm Christine Lisi. Following his release by the Dolphins, Tyreek Hill took to Instagram thanking the organization, his teammates, and the fans in Miami. He also vowed his career will continue. He'll miss most of last season with a dislocated knee and torn ACL. Hill's release, one of a series of moves made by new Miami GM John Eric Sullivan, saving the team significant salary cap space. A must-see college hoops showdown loaded with ramifications for the #1 seeds for the upcoming NCAA tournament. #2 Houston at #6 Iowa State. Backcourts likely determine this matchup, believes ESPN's Seth Greenberg.
Kingston Flemings for Houston is a dynamic guard who can get in the lane, make plays, finish at the rim, shoots the three. They play through him late in games. On the other hand, Iowa State's got an elite on-ball defender in Killian Torres. These are both defensive teams that are connected defensively. They're physical defensively. They take you out of what you want to do. In a backcourt pressure of Iowa State, can they disrupt Houston? And then can Houston disrupt Iowa State?
Cougar Cyclones, 9 Eastern ESPN. The U.S. Women's Olympic Hockey team beat Sweden 5-0, advanced to the gold medal game, and Thursday's meeting with Canada.
ESPN Radio is presented by Progressive Insurance, making it easy to save money. When you bundle your auto policy with home, condo, or renters, you'll earn a multi-policy discount. Easy to bundle, easy to save. Visit Progressive.com.
from Faro.
15 to the 10 to the house.
Bush.
Back to the wall. And it's got her.
And Arrowhead.
Touchdown. Kansas.
the city to your speakers.
This is the big show, baby.
Get fresh takes on the biggest sports stories in mid-Missouri. Right now, this is the Big Show with Andy and Brendan on KTGR.
No, it's tough, but we'll talk more Mizzou hoops here in a bit. Talk about the road ahead. Some are saying that it might be the toughest road left in college basketball as far as the regular season is concerned. We'll get to that, whether we agree, and how Mizzou can navigate it. Here on the Big Show, KTGR, and the KTGR app. You can call or text us with your thoughts at 875-KTGR or on YouTube and on Facebook. We're live right there. We'll talk some Card spring training as well. First day, the Yadier Molina was there as a coach, working with the catchers. Is everyone happy to see him? What kind of impact can he have as a coach, do we think, this season? And we'll talk with Mizzou softball head coach Larissa Anderson after the Tigers went 2-3 at the Shriners Children's Clearwater Invitational this weekend. We'll talk to Coach Anderson about how she sees her group shaping up for the next week. That'll be coming up at 5:45. But first, it's 5 o'clock.
It's time for the Top 5 at 5 on The Big Show. Number 1.
If you want to trade away for curtain number 1, you can have curtain 1.
Most disheartening performance of the season, in my opinion. Mizzou basketball on Saturday night at a sold-out Mizzou arena falls to Texas 85-68. Completely non-competitive in the second half of this game. You trailed by 2 at halftime. It was an ugly, grungy kind of first half, but you were in the game. Second half, I truly had to look at the box score and the game cast to be sure that Texas had any possessions where they didn't score points in the second half. That's how woeful the defense was for the Tigers. Offensively, it was like bad pickup basketball. They weren't getting shots to fall, missing layups. It was not their night. Dennis Gates, you got to find a way to get him to turn the page because Wednesday versus Vanderbilt now becomes all that much more important. And that's what kicks off the remainder of a really difficult schedule, as we'll talk about coming up.
Number 2.
Number 2, your timing is impeccable.
Tyreek Hill officially released by the Dolphins. It was a no-brainer for them, given the massive cap hit he would have meant. And he's not even presently healthy after suffering a devastating knee injury in Week 4 this past season. Hill vowed on Instagram that his career would continue. All right, Chiefs, he's available. Yeah, for a lot of reasons. I think it's going to be a thanks, but no thanks from me on that reunion, but I guess we'll see.
Number 3.
There's Jordan for 3. Yes!
Great start for Tony Vitello to his San Francisco Giants tenure. He's the first guy to ever go from college head coach to big league manager without stopping in between. And the way he starts his tenure is to relitigate how it was reported too early that he was taking the Giants job, but it wasn't actually true. But obviously he ended up taking the job. It was a bizarre 3-minute rant, and there was not even a question. Sir, this is a Wendy's. I think Giants fans are a little irked by that. As long as he wins, I think it'll all smooth over, but very weird start to his tenure there.
Number 4.
Oh, shanked it.
Yeah, Mizzou baseball put up 34 runs in the series finale over Mount St. Mary's over the weekend. I want to be excited about that, pleased by that. I really do. But I'm still frustrated that they lost the series opener to a team that they were then able to score 34 runs against. Yeah, bullpen concerns bit them in Game 1. I want the Tigers to build on this, so I'll try to stay positive. But please keep banking the wins against these lesser programs. We know that league play will be a behemoth.
Number 5.
What is the 5 fingers? Say to the face.
I hope Jerome Tang's lawyers go after K-State for everything they're worth after the slimy way they're trying to wiggle out of owing him the buyout after his firing. Look, just say he didn't do a good job. Say he didn't win enough games. Honor the damn contract. Don't say this is for cause. It's a joke. This is the trend now.
That's The Big Show's Top 5 at 5 on KTGR.
875-KTGR if you want to call or text us. Yeah, the thing is, I don't think any of us would disagree with the move of Kansas State firing Jerome Tang.
No, it didn't work out.
He hasn't made the turn. He had that first year Elite 8 run. That's awesome. And then nothing since then.
Yeah, who was the kid last year? Coleman, what's his face, that was paid a bunch of money just didn't really perform. Look, it didn't work out. You fired the coach. I get it. You talked about it. Don't give him the buyout. I think nowadays the coach is going to go the place that gives him the buyout. But the trend now seems to be, we didn't like what you did. We didn't like that we didn't win enough. And so we're just going to say, well, you embarrassed the program. I mean, technically, you can say that about anything. You didn't win enough games. Embarrass the program. No buyout for you.
That
will not fly in a court of law. I don't want Jerome Tang's lawyers to settle. I want them to go the distance with this to say, look, because I think it's a slam dunk case. The risk would be they lose, but dude, unless he's got some skeletons in the closet, he didn't do anything wrong other than just, not win enough games. You can't just say, you talk bad about your players. That's fine. They stink. Like he was just being honest. He probably didn't need to go that far, but he probably saw the writing on the wall. That rant does not equate to fired for cause. He should get every penny of that buyout. If you're going to sign the contract, honor it.
Yeah, I really don't understand Kansas State's approach with this. Because
I understand it. It's just a world where truth doesn't matter. And so they can say, hey, it's for cause, and then they'll settle for less. That's what happens all the time. And it's the trend now to say, it's for cause. Or you don't even have to say it sometimes. But it happened at Mizzou. It happened at Mizzou where with the former athletic director, there was a buyout that was like, we're going to kind of settle it. We're just going to make this go away. We'll get our money. But it's like,
but that was even over like a difference between $3 million and $1.5 million. And at that point,
who's going to pay it? And it's
right. Exactly. This is $19 million here.
Yeah.
And if you had a realistic shot at getting it down to $10 million, okay, I understand, but I don't think they have a case for it. They could maybe shave it down by $1 million or $2 million. And at that point, you got to make sure it's a bigger difference than the legal fees. That's my whole part of this.
I think their hope is, and like I said, I think it is a trend. Their hope is, we muddy the waters. I don't know. Maybe you'll lose, and maybe you'll lose if there's a judge that decides this, or however it would play out with the dispute to the contract. Maybe you'll lose the whole thing. And it's strong arming Jerome Tang into taking less and settling. I hope they don't. And I love what the lawyers had to say, where it's like, if you thought that was an embarrassment, just wait. You are about to be embarrassed. Your school, your athletic department. I hope I don't have any affinity toward this coach other than I just think what's right is right, and they should pay him the buyout.
Remember when Mizzou fans were like, "Oh man, I really wish we had gotten Jerome Tang."
Yeah, but remember when Mizzou Brendan was like, I really wish we'd get Todd Golden? And they won the national championship.
Fine.
That was the same cycle.
That's literally the only candidate that you could say about in that cycle that was like, I wish we had gotten that guy. Because I heard a lot of, we should have gotten Matt McMahon or stuff like that.
I'm pretty sure if we went back into the annals, Golden was the guy. He's also kind of skeevy, though, I think. So whatever.
He is. And I don't know how much of a shot Mizzou might have had at him either. So
I don't either.
It's water under the
Florida,
bridge.
They had national championships in this sport. And if they wanted to hire him, they were probably going to get him. But
yeah. But look, this year's team for Dennis Gates.
I know.
Maybe they'll make the tournament. Maybe not. Bottom line, he's not going anywhere.
Honestly, it'd be less stressful for me if they didn't. Just in terms of enjoying March Madness.
Oh, yeah. Well, because it'll be another chance for people to say, can't win a tournament game, even though he has, and he's the only Mizzou coach that has done so in the last 4 Mizzou coaches. But, they'll still have a chance to be like, we didn't upset the 6th seed as an 11. Get rid of him. Maybe you're right. You're right.
Frank Haith didn't win one. Did Frank Haith win one?
No, he didn't.
No, they lost to Colorado State, and they lost to
Norfolk State.
Norfolk State. But the next year was Colorado State. They didn't even win then.
They didn't win that one. That was an 8-9 game, and then the next year
his
they didn't
tenure
make
was
it.
just a slow, gradual decline until it's
I
gotta go to Tulsa, guys. Sorry.
Yeah. Anyway.
Oh my goodness.
But
yeah, no, you're right. Gates came in and won a tournament game. It's the first thing he did. Inheriting a situation that wasn't a great one, And
again, I know that's not the only thing that Mizzou fans want. They don't just want a tournament win.
I want it.
You want more. You want to go to the second weekend. You want
the second weekend.
Yeah, right? So, no, I get all of that. It's just context is important. Think about
it's
where
okay to be disappointed by
the
false starts. I think it's a false start to
go
to the tournament in year 1. Win a game and then lose to Princeton.
Right.
That's a false start.
No,
it's a false start to then the next year go 0-18 and you're like, are we on the right path? And then you get to another tournament game and you lose to Drake.
Yeah.
Lose to a bunch of accountants. That hurts.
Hey,
all
those
right.
accountants play for Iowa now. They're just saying.
I know.
They all do.
Yeah, Sturts is a freak.
He's awesome.
Player.
But no, I get it. And this year you're just trying to make it back. And I know that Mizzou fans want more than just making it back. They want to do stuff when they get there. But you do need to get there in order to do stuff when you get there.
Can I say one thing? The
Yes.
Princeton guys are accountants now.
That
right?
they
I think
are.
those
Yeah,
guys are.
those the actual accountants.
Okay.
And lawyers
Actuaries,
and
accountants.
stuff like that. They are that right now. They didn't even need a year out of college to get to that point.
No, they're doing well. They're doing well for themselves.
Exactly. But this year's team, I mean, they're still a bubble team. The loss, as hard as it was to watch, and as much as you should lambast the team for that singular moment, not being able to take advantage of it, they are not out of this. They are still on the bubble. They are part of the first 4 out, according to Joe Lunardi. In fact, they are the very first team out, according to him. And if you win half of your games coming up, half of your next 6, then I think you will at least start the SEC tournament on the right side of the bubble. But the problem is, I think it's going to be tough to win 3 games. This account, I believe it's a fan account, College Basketball Report on Twitter, they ranked the 20 hardest schedules remaining in college basketball. Okay. I don't know what they ranked it off of, whether it's a metric. Looks like it might be tied to one of those prediction markets. I don't know. But
great.
Yeah,
great.
I understand. Mizzou is ranked as the 2nd hardest remaining schedule, not in the SEC, in the nation, behind only Arizona.
Well, good. It's easing up then.
Exactly.
Things are about to turn.
Yeah. Yeah, and look, like with the teams that they have left, they have Arkansas twice, they have Vanderbilt, they have Tennessee. Those are all pretty much the same team to me, and that they're very good teams. And then road games add some teams that are not in the tournament and probably won't be. Mississippi State and Oklahoma. But you're going on the road, and so it's tougher, and that's what you got to watch out for. And Oklahoma obviously has been playing better recently. So do you agree that it's the 2nd hardest schedule in the country? I mean, you don't have to go and compare every single schedule, but it sounds that way.
Arkansas is still ranked, right? I think Tennessee, are they ranked? If not, they're close to it.
I don't really pay much attention to the
I don't
AP,
pay attention to this. Is not the same as football for sure. Because
pretty much all the metrics and all the predictive sites have them as top 20 teams. So I would say they're ranked.
So you're playing at a top 20 opponent. You're hosting a top 20 opponent. You're going to another, hosting another top 20 to 25 opponent. Tennessee does not appear to be ranked in the AP, but like Miami of Ohio is. I think I'll take the Vols. No offense, guys. I am proud of you for being undefeated. So like those are 3 of the 6. Vanderbilt is a top 20 team as well. That's 4 of the 6. You get 3 of those 4 at home, but then you have to play 2 road games. Only one of them is like conceivably an easier game. But Mississippi State, they held on to beat Ole Miss Saturday, right? I mean, that they were blowing them out.
They went on the road and beat them. Yep.
I just thought later about that. I think Friday I was thinking Ole Miss would win. And then I thought, you know what? What if Josh Hubbard's all over the place and they win that rivalry game? And that's what happened. 90-78.
32
Hubbard
points.
finished with 32. Good gravy. So that's what happened there. That can happen to you. I mean, that can happen to Mizzou. We lucked out the first time we played him. He just didn't play well in the first half, and they started pouring it in. So that's no easy task. In Oklahoma right now, I'm telling you what, man, of all the 3-9 teams you could hope to play, they're one that I would not like to see, and we got to go to their place. So yeah, I believe it when they say it's second toughest. It's got to be top 10, just in terms of 4 of the 6 are ranked. The other 2 aren't, but it's road games at teams that there's reason to believe that you're going to have a difficult time. Oklahoma just beat Vanderbilt recently. Like, yeah, that's a tough schedule. It is. That's why Saturday stinks, because that was a non-ranked opponent at your place, sold out the gym and couldn't win it. That's the trouble of it.
James texted in with the schedule Mizzou has coming up. I think Vandy is now a must win. I won't say singularly that one, because again, I think the home games you have against Vandy, Arkansas, and Tennessee are all the same. I really think they're all the same team.
How many do you need?
I think, well, here's the must wins that I'll say. I think the must wins are the road games at Mississippi State and Oklahoma. And I know you laid out how tough those are, but they are the easier games to get outside of the other ones. And I think those you put now in the must win territory.
What's the requisite number though? Is it still 10-8 or is that like
10-8? I think gets you, I think 10-8, you can feel pretty good about your chances.
Don't lose your opener in Nashville. But I still agree, even though like right now, I think we all generally agree they're on the outside looking in. Like if the committee's given a bracket today, I think Mizzou is just barely out. Not to say that Lunardi is the end all be all. He doesn't even rate that highly among the bracketologists in terms of accuracy. But I think that's my vibe too, is like they're just kind of on the outside looking in after the Texas game. First four out, if I had to guess right now, if you're Mizzou.
Yeah, probably.
But I also think that like if your schedule is the second toughest in the country and you go 3-3,
that should matter.
Okay.
That'll matter.
Yeah,
I think so. Yeah, because that will mean at least getting one of Vanderbilt, Arkansas, Tennessee, and you host all of them, and then you go to Arkansas later this weekend for a chance to maybe upset them there. But I can't really see that happening.
That's not going to occur.
But
that's why you need the Vanderbilt one though. By the way, because
it'll feel like you can
the hill.
Go 1-1 each week, and mentally you're like, okay, well at least we have that win.
Yeah.
No, I understand that part of it. But like if you went 2-0 the next week by beating Tennessee and Mississippi State, then you're right back where you were. And then it'll be about going 1-1 again, which means probably need that Oklahoma one because then Arkansas is how you finish out unless you upset them at home. We'll see. But to me, I see Mississippi State and Oklahoma as non-negotiable to getting there because I
will negotiate on one of those games. I'll negotiate on Oklahoma.
But then
it's a quad one game.
Yeah, I understand.
I mean, they've risen up. They're in the 60s, I think, in the net.
They are.
It's a quad one game. If you were to, that's why I asked about the requisite number. I think you have to get 3 wins. If you happen to lose Oklahoma, still probably ends up as a quad one loss, and you're winning a different game that's impressive to offset it, assuming you still get to 3-3. That's really the magic number to me.
True. Yeah.
And so, but I don't think you can lose at Mississippi State because frankly, I don't see how you go 3-3 if you lose at Mississippi State. It would be a bizarre finish to go, 3 of the other 5. That means you're winning probably the Oklahoma and then picking off 2 ranked opponents at home, or like we said, winning at Arkansas. I think Mississippi State, they must win that game. I'm not supremely confident that they will, but that's what, if we're talking about the path, I think that's when you have to win. You can afford to lose, say, Oklahoma if you've already banked Vandy, something like that.
Yeah, the thing is, maybe they win every home game, which would be, I could not predict that right now, but that would be Vandy, Tennessee, and Arkansas. It's hard to see this team, the way it is constructed. Again, they want to really roll with 7 guys as long as those 7 guys are healthy and not in foul trouble and on their game. And they'll just be fine with that. But how many more times is that going to happen this year? It's not going to happen 6 times. Just saying that right now. It might happen 3 times. That's the hope. But even if it happens 3 times, maybe one of those times Arkansas just blasts you out of their gym and they have an unworldly game.
Yeah.
And it doesn't matter how well you play. Like that's the problem that Mizzou could be running itself into based on the schedule that they have left. And that's why Saturday was a big gut punch because, again, gave you that margin.
Another reason, though, that I would say I'm leaning closer to the Vandy one being that kind of must win is they don't quite have the size that gave you a problem with Texas. Like, they don't really have that guy on the interior that's going to wreck the game. And I think Mizzou's better when it can lean on all its guards. And so, like, I feel there'll be some coaching matchup decisions that are made to try to get advantages in the Vandy game. But I almost think they're similar in terms of both of them want to be playing all their guards as much as they can. And so maybe that is like, you just have to be better than their guards that day. It's winnable on paper, in my opinion. Vanderbilt's not playing its best right now in terms of just like the recent stretch. They've shown moments where they don't perform to their capabilities, and so they feel like gettable. And I just don't think of the matchup against Arkansas is as gettable of a game. And like Tennessee will be interesting too. I'm very glad that's a home game, but I just am not supremely confident there. So like if I'm carving out the best way to get to 3-3, I think it is probably Mississippi State, Vanderbilt, and then conceivably Oklahoma. But I'm not super confident that they'll go to Norman and win. So that's why I'm like, really get the Vandy one, because that's where if you don't get Vandy, now you clearly have to see 3 of your last 5. And I don't think they're going to be favored maybe in any of them.
No,
but
I don't think so.
They maybe Mississippi State. I don't know, but not again. Like I think that their recent result against Ole Miss is telling. That was a road game. If Josh Hubbard is playing well, Mississippi State can hang with anybody. I mean, they took Texas to overtime earlier this season when we thought, oh, what's that mean for Texas? I bet if I went back and looked at the box score, Josh Hubbard probably had a good game because he's capable of taking over that way. So the Vandy one's pretty dang important, and it's a shame because it would have been important from a stance of like, let's go get a double bye. Now it's important from a stance of if you don't win it, suddenly the climb that's already uphill would get I've got shin splints just thinking about it. Like it would be tough.
Sure. And look, Tennessee is a bad matchup. I think Tennessee is the best offensive rebounding team in the country.
Oh, lovely.
According to Ken Pom. So
I'm going to say
could have
the
a
toughest
recipe.
game is at Arkansas. That's the toughest one left.
Yes.
Tennessee might be next. And then the other Arkansas game.
Yeah, Ken Pom doesn't agree, but
Really?
yeah, Ken Pom says that actually
Both
Mississippi
Arkansas?
State's the best chance, obviously.
Okay.
Oklahoma and Tennessee are tied for the next best chance.
Really? I just think Vanderbilt, if they have the wrong kind of game, they've played too many C-plus games recently, Vanderbilt has, to where like.
It still meant they won 5 of the last 6, though. They blasted Kentucky during that stretch.
Yeah. No, you're right.
2 in a row against Auburn and A&M.
Yeah, I mean, look, I can't even lean on, hey, well, Mizzou's at home. Well, what did that mean on Saturday?
Yeah.
They're either going to play well or they're not. But I feel like Vandy's important because the 2 Arkansas games and the Tennessee game is tough. And, like, let's realize all along I've been anchored to this, like, they're going to win 8 or 9 conference games. And then the moment I thought better of that was right after the A&M game. And now 3 days later, I'm going, yep, probably 8 or 9 conference wins is what you're looking at, because I think it's this remaining schedule. They can't have any games like they just had against Texas. They don't beat anyone left on their schedule if they play similarly to how they did on Saturday. They go 0-6 if that's
if they repeat that game 6 times, no doubt.
And they won't.
I don't think they
repeat
will.
it 6 times.
Yeah.
But if they repeat it twice, or if they're even anything close to resembling that, like you said, you better not have your good games against the wrong opponents, because you might lose those too. And it could be very quickly a 1-5 finish, which would be 8-10. Most likely they go 2-4 and they finish 9-9. And I'm watching Selection Sunday, but not for them. I'm watching Selection Sunday to fill out my bracket, and because I'm a freak and I like to do it by hand. I won't be sweating Selection Sunday if Mizzou goes 9-9, even if they make like the quarterfinals of the SEC tournament. You'd probably have to make the semis before I would be thinking, maybe they'll pay attention to us. But I think we've seen from past years, they don't really pay that close attention to the conference tournaments when making the brackets. Not for the teams that don't run the distance and win their conference tournament. For the teams that had a good run, it's a footnote. It's not going to change the trajectory.
Yeah. 875 KTGR. Mizzou has a tough road ahead as far as their last remaining games. Can they get at least 3 of them to be back in the right side of the bubble for the NCAA tournament? 875-5847. Call or text us with your thoughts on Mizzou hoops, fresh off their loss to Texas this past Saturday. We'll talk with Mizzou softball coach Larissa Anderson at 5:45. But up next, a look at how we did on our picks of the week this past weekend. I was the one taking the gut punch this time. And we'll talk some Cardinal spring training. Yadier Molina, what type of impact can he have as a coach this year for the Redbirds? That's next.
The best subscriptions in life are free. Subscribe to KTGR on YouTube to watch The Big Show and other exclusive content. YouTube.com/@KTGR Sports.
Hi, everyone. Andy Humphrey here for Lee's Tire Company. Wintertime can be very hard on your vehicle, so don't neglect it at all during this month. Be sure to take it into Lee's Tire Company for regular maintenance. They can check fluids. They can check tire pressure. They also have a great technical team that can take care of larger projects if you need those done. But of course, they're the tire experts. So they'll check your tires to make sure they're in tip-top shape, check the alignments. And if you need new tires, they've got a huge selection. So chances are it won't be hard to find the right ones for you. And you can also save by getting tires at Lee's Tire Company. Every single month they run specials to put money back in your pocket if you need new tires. Go and check out leestirecompany.com for all of those specials that are happening now. And be sure to visit them on the Business Loop in Columbia or at University Garage, where they have a large location right by the MU campus. They're also in Centralia, or shop online for tires anytime at leestirecompany.com. If it's round and rubber, Lee's sells it. leestirecompany.com.
Your foresight is so good, you can practically see into the future. But fortune telling isn't the career path you want to take. Instead of predicting people's futures, you can help build them at Fuse 32. Because you recognize things before they can even become problems. You love the thrill of success and getting paid for it. All that's left to do now is look into that crystal ball and see yourself on the sales team at Fuse 32. There's nothing we can't do. Apply now at Fuse32.com.
Columbia has a lot of great neighborhoods, a lot of beautiful neighborhoods, and you can't replace or build new homes there, but they're aging and the homes are getting to an age where they're needing maintenance. And one of the biggest things that we see coming over probably the next decade is need and demand for window replacement. So as your home approaches 15, 17, 20 years old, you're probably going to notice some drafts. You're going to notice some locks that don't quite lock anymore, maybe some condensation in the windows on the inside, outside, or between the panes. There's a variety of things. Or maybe you just drive up to the window and it's got rotten wood or a really faded exterior. But either way, at about that time frame, these windows kind of end their life cycle. And so we want to be prepared to be the ones that you call, when you notice that and you want a solution for it. The difference between a house and a home is the attention to detail. At True Sun Exteriors and Interiors, we'll turn your vision of a dream home into a reality. For more information or a free estimate, go to TrueSunExteriors.com.
TrueSunExteriors.com.
Would you care for some nightmare fuel? It's 5 a.m., and while you're still shaking off the cobwebs from the previous night's snooze, something else is lurking in another web. Time for a shower. Reach down to start the water and... It's a spider. 8 eyes watching you and now 8 legs coming right for you. You know what you need? 5 stars. Not like throwing stars, although to be fair, you'd use just about anything to kill that dastardly shower spider. All you need is a 5-star service plan from Steve's Pest Control. Steve scares the life out of pests. Oh, who are we kidding? Steve and his team don't scare them, they kill them. All of them. And because your fear of spiders, wasps, termites, and other insects is very real, Steve's is here to let you know that he and his team are real too. They're not some corporate conglomerate. They're legendary, local, and 100% real.
Hi, I'm Steve with Steve's Pest Control. We're going to solve your pest problem. I guarantee it.
Now you got a friend in the pest control business. Steve's Pest Control.
Back to more of the biggest sports stories in mid-Missouri. You've got The Big Show on the KTGR app.
You can give us your Mizzou Hoops thoughts with a call or text at 875-KTGR. Tigers this week take on Vanderbilt Wednesday night, 8 o'clock tip-off. You can hear it on KTGR. On Saturday, it's a 3 o'clock tip-off. They hadn't announced the time since last week, but they finally did. It's now 3 p.m. Mizzou at Arkansas for that game. And that might be a tough one for Mizzou. That might be one watching it might be harder to do. That's one where you just listen to it on KTGR. You want to kind of keep your distance from the emotional pull of watching that type of game. So you just listen to it, and honestly, it's not as painful.
When margin of defeat dictates metrics, they kind of need to play well. They still need to show up for that game. I'm not saying you have to win, but I mean, you can be competitive in a game that we're not really thinking you will be, and that could have some meaning. So I'm hoping they do that, but I'm hoping they beat Vandy first.
Beat Vandy.
that washes away a lot of the stink from the Texas game if you can beat Vanderbilt. That's really the whole sentence. There's nothing else to say. Win that game.
Well, again, while you're
it for the next 2 days.
listening, that game, then you listen on Saturday. You can listen while you eat a whole bunch of chili at the Rootin' Tootin' Chili Cook-Off this Saturday.
Yeah.
I love chili cook-offs, man. Like I feel
He
like
somehow always ends up as the judge. I don't know how that.
I am apparently going to be a judge again this year for
that's somehow that works out.
20th annual Rootin' Tootin' Chili Cook-Off, benefiting the Boys and Girls Clubs of Columbia. You can buy tickets in advance and save money. It's $20 in advance. It's $25 at the door. We have a chance for you to win some tickets as well here on the big show. So be listening around this time, maybe a little sooner. 5:20 is when we'll usually have our giveaways for the Rootin' Tootin' Chili Cook-Off tickets all this week. So be sure to tune in for that. We'll ask a trivia question as we usually do. And if you're one of the first people to answer that right, you'll get a pair of tickets to the Rootin' Tootin' Chili Cook-Off, benefiting the Boys and Girls Clubs of Columbia. But again, if you go online to ktgr.com right now, you can save by buying in advance. And there'll be drinks. There'll be kid games as well. They had a bounce house last year, so you can bring the kiddos and they'll have some fun. Live music, and of course, all of the chili. Be ready to don't eat anything beforehand. Probably save some room for all of the chili that you will be eating during the Rootin' Tootin' Chili Cook-Off this Saturday. It's from 2 to 6 at the Wyndham Executive Center. That's formerly the Holiday Inn Expo Center in Columbia. Get all the details at ktgr.com to check it out and support a great cause, the Boys and Girls Clubs of Columbia. Okay. The picks didn't go very well for your boy.
What?
I went 1-4. The one I got was Texas Tech, which was pretty awesome.
Yeah, that was crazy. That was outright.
Great game. Arizona back-to-back losses as the number one team all of a sudden.
Mm-hmm.
And apparently, according to this metric we were using for Mizzou, second hardest schedule for Mizzou. First hardest schedule is Arizona. So, yeah.
Good luck, Cats.
Hope you make the tourney.
Yeah.
No, I went 1-4. Brendan, you went 3-2.
Not
bad. Producers went 4-1. There you go, producers. Got it done. Producer Natalie's like, yeah, it was all me, baby.
Like, that was me.
Heck yeah.
I did all that.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, you take credit. Take credit. Just take credit and move on. That's how you do it.
Well, they're not catching me yet.
Not yet,
but that they're inching up.
They're about to cross the 500 mark. Brendan, you're still in good shape. You're at 67, 55, and 3.
Okay, so I'm 12 games over 500. What are they?
They are 60, 62, and 3.
So they're still
they're 7 games back.
500.
7 games.
So they can't catch as long as they can't catch me in a week. I think we're okay.
Right.
But the moment that they get within 5, then I start to sweat because I'm like, yeah, but what if what if they pick the order and they just fade me and I'm wrong about everything?
If they get to the last week and they're within 5 games, then that's the strategy there.
Yep.
Yeah. So we'll see. And I'll just be, off in the distance.
Hanging out.
Have fun, guys. You take care of that. So yeah, we'll see how the picks week. Only 7 weeks left. 3 regular season weeks of college basketball, conference tournament weekend, and then 3 weekends of March Madness. That's it.
Gonna happen fast.
Down the stretch here.
Buckle up.
College basketball. Oddly enough, it's winding down, but this is when it gets fun. So
this is when it gets fun. This kind of little stretch right now, just in the general sports landscape, kind of weak. This is kind of the lull where college basketball is kind of all you have.
Yeah.
And then like the playoffs for NHL and NBA get going. You get into springtime, baseball's back, March Madness is kicking up. April, you get the Masters. Like it all starts to come together.
Oh yeah.
Olympics right now is kind of, like this past weekend was lean with no NBA because the All-Star stuff. Nobody cares about that anymore.
People liked it yesterday. I didn't watch, but people seemed it got pretty good reviews yesterday. Yeah.
The only thing that I paid attention to was that they evidently outed Kevin Durant in his burner account. Like everybody found that he it seems like this is not verified, but it seems pretty plausible that he did have a burner that it was outed. Like the photo header in the background of the burner is like a eagle or an owl or something, like looking all menacing. And Durant had tweeted the exact same photo with like the same aspect ratio 5 years ago, just without context, people are pretty sure it's him. So, and he was like, as they're doing like, hey, we're warming up for game 2, because it was like a tournament or whatever. KD is on the floor on his phone actively, and everybody on Twitter was like, oh, he's tweeting. Like he's trying to put out the fire. So that was all I saw. And then all of the Olympics that I really locked into was that maybe you could help me with this curling incident, but why is it that the only job of the referees for curling isn't to see if the guy is illegally curling? Because the Swedish team had to set up like a whole sting operation just to catch him, because they're like, well, the refs don't look at that. What are they looking at?
No, it's a very self-policing sport. Like it's kind of like golf. Golf, you also are very self-policing.
That makes sense if it's kind of a golf comparison. Yeah, I was like, what do you mean you can't check that? What is it that you say you do here if not checking to see if he's illegally touching it? But he got really mad that they said he was, and then he told him to go someplace, and it was not very nice. And turns out he was cheating.
Right,
and so it's a whole thing. But that was my Olympics exposure for the weekend.
Well, at least it was curling. That's good.
Yeah.
The hockey was good this weekend.
Yeah, USA started not so good against Denmark.
Yeah.
They were like down 2-1, but they figured it out. I heard they played the wrong goalie. I don't know.
Maybe. Who knows? But this week, when those start to get to the medal rounds, like the curling and the hockey,
You're into it, huh?
Yeah, this is the week.
How does one discover that they're good at like the bobsled or the luge thing? How do you come to find out like this is what I will be an Olympian for? Is like laying down really close to the ground and going really, really, really fast around some turns and stuff.
Who came up with that sport?
That's what I don't understand.
Really what I want to know.
You're like, yeah, I'm an Olympic athlete. What do? I kind of lay there and I go really, really fast. It's like extreme sledding. It's like, I know there's skill involved. I'm not trying to diminish it, but are you sledding as a child one day and you're like, this is actually something I'm pretty good at. Look at how fast I went, Mom. And they're like, okay, we're going to get you on the luge team. You're in. It's just,
but that's like a mental capacity type thing. Are you ready to go like 75 miles an hour down an icy chute?
I mean, they are
flying.
Like,
yeah, man.
I get like,
and the skeleton people go head first.
Yeah, I was like, are they head first, back first? What are they doing? Is that a person? Yeah. Is that just a zooming blob? What is that? And the camera angles change so quick because of how fast they're going. I get whiplash.
Yeah.
Crazy.
It's so insane. But that's the Winter Olympics for you. Just add ice to the insane things that you probably did. And, say, oh, I can do it better than that. Oh, yeah, let's go. And then sure enough, you got an Olympic sport. Yeah, it'll be fun this weekend to see who gets the curling championships, whether the U.S. teams can do it. U.S. got silver in the mixed doubles. That fired me up. See if
it fired me up. It did. And then how do you find out that you can get on a sled with another person and that you go really fast? Like, how do you learn that? At what point in your life do you go, you know what? Me and this guy that we can ride on the same sled, he gets on top. I just kind of lay there.
Right.
We go so fast and neither of us fall down. And it's like, all right, you're on the team.
That's that. I mean, honestly, I probably would fall off the sled. So I wouldn't make it.
Not probably.
Yeah, the people who can stay on the sled, kudos to you. That's awesome. Shout out to the double luge team. Is that what's they call it? Double luge? I don't know.
Yeah. That's what I'm calling it.
Bobsled, skeleton, whatever it is. Hey, we managed to talk Olympics instead of Cardinals. Isn't that great? Love that.
Yeah, Yadi's at spring training. Okay, he's gonna sprinkle his Yadi dust on Herrera.
on Ivan Herrera and make him a good catcher again. Yep. That's good. Well, they need that because Ivan Herrera, as a catcher, would be nice to have him be there every day.
We'll see if he can throw guys out this year. That'll be the test.
That's the main thing. We will talk about all things Mizzou softball and how they did this past weekend with Larissa Anderson, Mizzou softball head coach. Next, you're on the Big Show.
Now, your local sports center update on your total sports station, KTGR.
Good afternoon. I'm Andy Humphrey. This Sports Center update is with Lee's Tire Company. If it's round and rubber, Lee sells it. Go to leestirecompany.com. Mizzou basketball took a hit on Saturday to their NCAA tournament chances, 85-68. They lost to Texas at home. Texas scored 52 points in the second half to pull away. Jaden Stone and Mark Mitchell both had 16 points. The Tigers but it was not enough. Mizzou today, according to ESPN's Joe Lenardi, is the first team out of his bracketology projections after that loss. They're 17-8 overall, 7-5 in the SEC. Next game is at home on Wednesday night. Tigers host Vanderbilt at 8 p.m. Mizzou baseball won 34-3 yesterday in the rubber game of a 3-game set against Mount St. Mary's. Tigers lost the opening game, then had a 5-4 win on Saturday. They start the season 2-1. They'll have a true road game tomorrow at Florida Atlantic at 5:30. You can hear it on the KTGR app. And Mizzou softball went 2-3 in the Shriners Children's Clearwater Invitational over the weekend. Tigers lost their first 3 games, but then bounced back with wins over ranked teams, Florida Atlantic and Duke, to get to 4-7 overall in the season. They'll play in Lake Charles, Louisiana this upcoming weekend. Now your ABC 17 Storm Track forecast.
I'm ABC 17 Storm Track Chief Meteorologist Jessica Hafner. I'm tracking a warmer night as temperatures fall into the mid to upper 40s. We'll see mostly cloudy skies heading into tomorrow. It's going to be a warm and windy day as temperatures get up to about 70 degrees. We'll see strong wind gusts out of the south up to about 30 miles per hour and a chance for a few spot showers or storms tomorrow night, especially north of I-70. We'll welcome back more sunshine and highs near 70 on Wednesday. I'm ABC 17 Storm Track Chief Meteorologist Jessica Hafner, and that's your ABC 17 Storm Track forecast on your total sports station, KTGR.
Ready for all the chili you can handle? The Rootin' Tootin' Chili Cook-Off, benefiting the Boys and Girls Club of Columbia, is rolling into the Wyndham Executive Center in Columbia on February 21st. Teams compete with their best bowls of chili, wild costumes, and decked-out booths. Bring your appetite, vote for your favorites, and find out who wins. All in support of Mid-Missouri kids. Don't miss the Rootin' Tootin' Chili Cook-Off, Saturday, February 21st. Grab your tickets now at ktgr.com or the KTGR app.
Hi, everyone. Andy Humphrey here for Advanced Tree Solutions. Wintertime is when your trees are barren, obviously. No leaves yet. We'll get to that very soon, but you still need to be aware of how your trees are growing during this time, especially if they're hanging over those power lines, right? That can be dangerous. And so now that there aren't leaves on the branches yet, now's a good time to get tree pruning done so that they can be safe once we see that growth back. Eric and his team at Advanced Tree Solutions, they are excellent to work with. They've come to my yard before, taken a tree out that was dead. They're honest, upfront, and trained, and they know exactly how to take care of your trees. Because, look, the power company's not going to know how to do it. Most lawn services, they don't know how to really take care of them. Eric and his team does. Go to advancedtreesolutionsllc.com. You can contact them to book for tree pruning and also look at the other services they have so that you can get ready for springtime at advancedtreesolutionsllc.com. Give your trees the care they deserve with Advanced Tree Solutions.
From the trainers to the coaches, the equipment managers to the players and fans, it takes a whole team to be truly successful. Hi, this is Sophie Cunningham, and if you're looking for the best team of jewelers in Columbia, it's Betts. Their staff has years of experience handcrafting jewelry, and when you combine that with the newest technology, it gives Betts Jewelers the ability to truly wow their customers. So talk to the team at your hometown jeweler today. Betts Jewelers in downtown Columbia.
These beautiful moments begin at Betts. Begin at Betts.
You know your favorites. Now it's time to put them on the map. Nominations are open for Inside Columbia Magazine's Best of Columbia 2026. Now through March 1st. Nominate the businesses and places you love, including Best Pizza, Best Bar, Best Chiropractor, Best Insurance Agent, and Best Home Repair and Remodeling. You can nominate once per day, so come back and support the businesses you love most. Best of Columbia 2026 starts with you. Nominate today at InsideColumbia.net.
Brian Ware Plumbing has answered a lot of your calls over the years, and you've helped him grow his business immensely. So he wanted to take a second to say thank you. Oof, that was pretty emotional. We couldn't have said it better ourselves. So keep calling Brian to unplug your plumbing problems. BrianWarePlumbing.com.
Hi, I'm Sarah Sticklin McDonald.
And I'm Charlie Sticklin with the Sticklin and Sticklin Law Firm.
And I'm Mizzou Softball's Natalie Touche. At Sticklin and Sticklin, all we do is personal injury.
We've earned millions for our clients since 1991.
On the diamond, I trust my team. Off the diamond, I trust Sticklin and Sticklin. Don't let the insurance companies strike you out. Let Sticklin and Sticklin go to bat for you. Sticklin and Sticklin, it's a home run.
Step into a real-life snow globe with Zimmer Communications and Colette Travel on this 9-day European vacation. Stroll Prague, Dresden, Vienna, and Budapest. From castles and cathedrals to twinkling market stalls. Sip warm Glühwein, shop handcrafted gifts, and even visit a family-run candy workshop. Learn more by joining us in Colette Travel Tuesday, March 17th at 5:30 at Courtyard Marriott Columbia on Lamone Industrial Boulevard. RSVP today at ZimmerCommunications.com.
They can't shoot it straight on the golf course, but they can shoot straight on the biggest sports stories in mid-Missouri. Back to Andy and Brendan on The Big Show on KTGR.
We're back here on The Big Show, KTGR and the KTGR app. Andy Humphrey here. Mizzou softball is back home. Tigers are getting set for their next road trip as they go to Louisiana this weekend, but are coming off a week-and-a-half long stay in Florida. Tigers this past weekend in the Shriners Children's Clearwater Invitational went 2-3. They lost their first 3 games, but then bounced back with back-to-back victories over Florida Atlantic and Duke, a couple of ranked teams there. And here to talk with us about it is Larissa Anderson, head coach of Mizzou softball. I know, Coach, another up-and-down weekend. How did you kind of evaluate it with your team bouncing back in the way that they did to finish the weekend and at least have that as you come back home to Columbia?
Yeah, definitely want to end the long week on a win. I mean, it makes the ride home that much more pleasurable. And it was good to see that we played extremely well and to come from behind against Duke. I mean, they were up 5-0, 4-0 actually, pretty quickly. And then we were able to battle back and chip away. And so that was really good to see the resiliency that we had and the fight and the competitiveness. And I got to say, Abby Carr was extremely impressive pitching that 7th inning, bases loaded, got out of that jam and really held great composure. So saw a lot of good things. There's still quite a few that we need to work on and we need to improve on in order to be competitive. But I mean, the potential's there.
And certainly it seemed the pitching performances were really there over those last couple of games. You talk about getting a shutout to end Saturday against a very good Florida Atlantic team. And then when you have to kind of come from behind in that sense, how do the pitchers kind of approach it in that way when they know, like, okay, let's make sure that there's no more damage left and we'll see if our offense can provide the spark back?
We say something within our program is just do your job. Like whatever your job is to do. If your job is to be a starter, let's try to keep the ball in the ballpark. If it's a middle reliever, bridge that gap so we can get to the game and just keep the game close enough that our offense can be able to manufacture runs. When you give up a couple runs early on in the game, you have 6 more innings of opportunities to be able to just chip away. You don't have to give them all back at one time. So that was just being able to grind that out. But I mean, our pitching has been competitive. There's been a couple games that I thought that it got away from us. But I mean, Marissa McCann had a great outing against UCLA, unbelievable. We had an opportunity to be able to close that game out. And then for her to come back and throw a complete game shutout, the first complete game in her career, that's what we needed her to do. And that was the conversation prior to that game was like, you got to put the team on your back and you got to go out and say, Coach, you're not coming to get me. I'm finishing this game. And that needs to be your mentality. And let me make that decision, but don't go into the game saying I'm just going to go 4 or 5 and then someone's going to come get me.
Larissa Anderson, Mizzou softball head coach, with us here on the Big Show, KTGR and the KTGR app. I know that game against UCLA might feel like one that, man, it was right there for your group. Just how did you kind of see that game playing out in your eyes when you get the early lead, but unfortunately UCLA is a tough team to hold down and they come back and win it?
Yeah, UCLA, I would say that's probably the best offensive team that we've faced so far, and they might be one of the toughest offensive teams in the country. I mean, extremely impressed with Megan Grant and the power that they have within their lineup. I mean, the opportunity was there. It's just when you're facing a team like that, we got to do some things differently. We got to leave the ball off the plate, and I felt like later on in the game, McCann still had good stuff. She just needed to make some better pitches in some of those situations to their best hitters. But it just shows you, like, we can compete with anybody in the country and we can beat anybody in the country. We just have to make sure that we're doing it for all 7 innings and not 5 out of the 7.
As you kind of evaluated what you had offensively with your group, there's certainly some good power swings this weekend, and from some of the younger players, it was good to see that. How do you kind of see that process at this point as you're trying to get more consistent offense out there?
Yeah, we got to have a couple players step up. We need some production out of Stefania Abriscato. If she's going to be our starting catcher, you got to be able to offer something in the lineup. And she's battling some injuries that she had prior to be going down there. So I think we're going to get her back on track. I'm still looking for a leadoff hitter. I mean, I thought it was going to be Addie Waits, and I think eventually it could be her. Could be freshman jitters. It could be trying to do too much. There's a lot of different mental things that could go into play. But we really need a leadoff hitter. I'm extremely impressed with Sid Forrester and Abby Carr, two freshmen that are really very consistent in the lineup. So that's great to see, just knowing what you're going to get from them every single day. And I got to say, Abby Hay, she's been doing really well these 11 games. Back to the freshman Abby Hay that we saw, very composed, very much in control of the strike zone. She's a tough out, and we just got to continue to support her. And then we're getting production at the bottom, which is great with Sophie Smith and Kaylee Langer. They're doing a real good job at the bottom of the lineup and turning it over, and you have Madison Updegrove in between. So I think we have all the pieces we need. We just need the players to step up when they're called upon. We can't hit a 3-run home run with nobody on base.
For sure. And as you kind of dismount from this past trip that you've had with 11 games during it, and certainly talking about those freshmen that have stepped up in big ways, what do you think it's been for those types of freshmen that are playing in some pretty key roles for you right now to have that first road trip against a wealth of very strong competition? What do you want to be the takeaways for maybe those types of players as they'll have a couple of non-con weekends here too, but then conference play very soon?
The experience, but also the confidence that you've faced some of the best pitchers in the country. And if you've seen what they can throw and the velocity that they throw and the movement that they throw, that you can hit anybody. But also have the discipline that you can't try to hit every single pitch. So getting that exposure early is really valuable for them as we go down the stretch.
Larissa Anderson, Mizzou softball head coach here on the Big Show, KTGR and the KTGR app. So with your next collection of games coming up, you'll get to go to Louisiana here soon. Houston, McNeese, and Louisiana are on the schedule. As you kind of evaluate what you'll have to stacked up against you for this collection of games, what do you kind of see as the opportunity for your girls to be able to go out there and maybe try to put together a winning weekend?
And the biggest thing is I'm really relieved that it's only 3 opponents. It's tough to be able to scout 5 different opponents, and we had 11 games in 11 days. So that's a lot to be able to make those adjustments as fast as we need to. So it'll be nice to have 3 different opponents instead of 5. Being able to make those adjustments. So now you're getting into kind of the philosophy of when you're in conference play, you're playing the same opponent 3 times. So when we're going to be playing Houston and McNeese twice, you have to make adjustments game to game. You can't do the same thing. So now you're learning how to make those in-game adjustments and the adjustments and how to counter that same opponent the next time you play them. So that's what I'm looking to see. And I'm also looking to see us just to continue to be competitive. We have to compete for all 7 innings. And I'm seeing that there's times that we get really disappointed in ourselves and our performance, and we let that carry over to our effort on the field. So I'd like to see a little bit more grit out of them.
When you talk about those adjustments, the answer might be both because it could be equal one way or the other. But do you see hitters making more adjustments there, or pitchers? How do you kind of then, from your position, throwing the best people out there maybe for one game here, the next one?
It's both. I'm seeing that when we have veteran pitchers, the hitting teams go in with a plan, and they're trying to take away our pitcher's best pitch. So they're looking for something and they're eliminating something, and we have to counter. We can't panic just because a team eliminated our best pitch. Let's go to our second and our third, because those are good enough to beat anybody. And when the team makes the adjustment to try to hit our second or third best pitch, we take back our best pitch. So we have to make those adjustments on either end. And then offensively, it's staying disciplined and sticking to don't panic. We're prepared. We know what we need to do. Just try to stay disciplined and focus on what you need to do.
Of course, you essentially stayed out on the road for a week and a half to be at least back in the home digs for a few days before you head back out there. What do you think that could do for the team here this week?
Oh, sleep in your own bed. I mean, you're on the road for 11 days and played 11 games, and it was a late night last night. Just having a day off today to regroup, to clean the clutter and just to get your mind right and get comfortable back being home, to have a reset. That's the toughest thing in these grinds. Being on the road is you don't have time for a reset. You don't have time to be by yourself, to figure things out. You always obviously have a roommate and you're with your teammates nonstop, which is a great thing, but you need that reset to be able to refocus to get back on track.
So again, the Tigers home to practice the next few days before heading back out on the road to Lake Charles, Louisiana, where they'll take on Houston, McNeese, and Louisiana Lafayette in the Cajun AC Louisiana Clash starting this Friday. Larissa Anderson and Mizzou softball here on the Big Show to talk about the weekend. Coach, thanks for taking the time. Safe travels this weekend, and we'll talk soon.
Thanks, Andy. MIZ.
ZOU, it's the Big Show on KTGR and the KTGR app. So Mizzou softball, after the first couple of weekends, is now 4-7 overall. So if they want to make sure they're above 500 to be eligible for NCAA tournament play, they'll still have some work to do before conference play comes around. And Tigers with a chance this weekend to play 5 more games in 3 days against Houston, McNeese, and Louisiana. We'll see if the Tigers can get an above 500 weekend out of that going forward. Thanks for joining us today here on The Big Show. We're back tomorrow at 4 o'clock. Amber and Ian is next. We'll see you. He's Brendan. I'm Andy. We're done for now.
KTGR and MU Healthcare Sports Medicine are highlighting